Okay, so we're just gonna wait for a little bit. See if everybody's gonna come around. And once Denso is ready, or if he's available. I know we're a little bit early to the party, but yeah. It might give me some time in order to adjust a few things, maybe mess around the audio a little bit. Hey, Golden. First to rise, first to shine. How you doing? How far are you in getting all the aces then? Because I know there's 24 of them, but what's your current progress? Missing like 3. So, yeah, you have 21. 21 aces taken down. Definite progress. Let me see if he's around. Yep, there we go. Just gonna switch to general voice. Or rather, good. So now I can actually mess around with the settings. Yeah, I'm gonna restart Discord. So the ATSB mic is ready. The ATUSB. Alright, now let's. I have to change the permissions. Or, you know what? Yeah, regulars can connect. Let's fix the settings. And let's test so that, yeah, there we go. So it's just gonna be a while before Denso hops in. You have to mess with the desktop audio on OBS. So there's gonna be a large spike in audio if I'm messing around with some other things. So hope everybody's enjoying their hump day. It's May 13th. Surprisingly, 5 months. Feels like things are going by pretty fast, despite the current situation of the world. But then again, as an introvert, time goes by pretty fast, depending on if you have a lot of things to do or not a lot of things to do. Okay. Yep, so Denso's hopping in. Gonna start the intro, and, well, intro theme. It might bounce around at a few points, but it is what it is. Yep. Alright, just getting things, pulling up some other stuff. Alrighty, I'm just gonna mess around with OBS real quick, get the desktop audio proper. All I'll do is just get rid of the negative. Alright, so if anyone's in the chat, let us know if the audio is working pretty well.
The hell is that?
No idea. just gonna work out some technical difficulties here.
We good?
Yeah.
Good? Yeah.
Again.
I'm trying to defend that's me.
Wait, what?
It's either that or is there some audio?
Okay, let me see. I think it might be
Or my ass.
dying robot sound intensifies. Yeah. Dento's probably gonna check out what's going on, see if it might be on. Oh, my audio's cutting out too?
How about now?
Okay, that should be better.
No, that's you. This is sure.
Okay, let me fiddle around with something real quick. Because this is odd. Do you have to use them? Oh, now I think I know what might be. Right. Sounds. The thing is, I don't hear it on my end too. That's the odd part about it. Maybe.
Okay. How about now?
Yeah.
Okay. How about now? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so this you like the audio coming in.
I might have to cut off face rig or something. Yeah, let me troubleshoot.
This is weird.
Yeah.
This is weird.
Maybe some microphone setting? Or is it the stream that's kind of playing back?
No idea.
Okay, I guess we could probably just power on through. See what we can actually do in this regard. But we're going to be doing it live. Let me kick back on. Wait, do you have like an audio playback enabled?
No, I don't think so. One second.
Yeah, just double check.
Settings.
Okay, does the audio sound good now, chat, or is there still some issues here and there? I know Golden, you mentioned something about the audio cutting in and out. So,
You still hearing that?
well, no, I don't hear any kind of feedback from you now. Alright, now let's switch scenes. Or before that, minimize. This audio is really loud. I guess I could probably adjust that through OBS. Alright, 17 decibels. Should be good. Alright. How about now? Any luck? Okay. I guess I could probably adjust things on my end. Mess with the mixer. Just adjust this a little bit. Just in case we run into any surprises. Well, we're going to be talking about a few things here and there. Once once the audio situation's been taken care of, then we can really get things in the way. Okay, isn't that disconnected for a moment? So I guess I can start by prefacing what we're going to be talking about here. So for mostly tonight, we're going to be talking about a certain character that's been causing a bit of an uproar, as well as the handling of a certain situation that cropped up that got a lot of people mad. And I do remember that tongue-in-cheek post that I made. TNA can really tear down civilizations faster than it can build. And I guess horny on main isn't always the best possible way to go about doing some community outreach for promoting your game, but who knows. Some people will just do it for the heck of it. Others not so much. But yeah, this whole situation has been boiling down into a heap of controversy every now and then. So yeah, Vidya, Twitter, and the FGC just going at it, and you know how that usually turns out. It's not going to end well for either side. The other thing that we're going to be talking about is Armor Core, a series that is near and dear to Denso. I've only played like 4 answers, so I always want to try all the other games too in the series, but we did have a bit of a small discussion about it the other day, just mostly between me and Shxt guy. I don't know if he might be able to hop on in too, but we'll wait and see. And only 4 other things I guess we could talk about. We'll just probably randomly shoot this shit. This is practically impromptu, with the exception of the 2 topics that I mentioned. It's primarily impromptu. So whatever we're gonna talk about first or next, that's gonna be the major focus. So we're just gonna wait and see if Dento hops back on, if his net situation cleared up. And one last thing, the mask stays on. What I mean by that, you're gonna see. You're gonna see soon enough. Just gotta wait. Oh, his service is dead. uh, Voice changer? No, no, nah. You're dealing with Dr. Girlfriend at this point. Oh, looks like I gotta. You must completely. No, I don't have to. I mean, if Necro 13 can do it, so can I. So can I. But it seems for the most part I'm going to be doing the one-man band situation. The one-man band routine, that is. And besides, I don't even know how mash sounds in English, too. I mean, I could probably take a look at a clip here and there and just see how that boils down, but everything else, it just wouldn't feel the same. It just wouldn't. You could get away with just high pitched. Well, if I had like an advanced audio mixer that can allow me to change the pitch at will, then I could probably do that. But That's just gonna be Uncanny Valley. Wait, I think we're getting some signs of life. We're getting some signs of life. So bear with us. We're only at this light at the end of the tunnel. We'll just have, Yep, we're back.
Alright.
Alright, ready to go?
Yo, Blue, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Alright.
Can anybody else hear him? Or is he too loud?
Yeah, I'm
or...
probably not going to be able to see the stream to see other people's comments, but I'll tell. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can do both.
Okay. I'll
With
just
the stupid phone of mine.
DJ
On my
to see if anyone else can
Should-
give me some. Oh, he's a bit louder than me. Okay, and that's
So, just checking, what are the topics today?
So we're gonna be talking about Iroha, the whole samurai.
Yeah, I
show
can't hear you at all, by the way.
Oh, you can't hear me? Oh, that's odd. But yeah, it's I put in the discussion board channel, so I'll just mess with the audio a little bit.
Alright. Let's
Close.
Alright. Alright.
Chequeame.
Hang on a second. Un el teléfono, espérate.
¿Cómo
Un
llama?
el teléfono, espérate.
Okay. So, I guess I changed things around a little bit. I don't know if I'm too loud or not loud enough. We could probably change things as we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, like I was about to say that we're gonna cover the Samurai Showdown incident with
Yeah,
the
here you go.
Iroha. Basically, starting with that first, and then we could also kind of discuss a bit about the situation with Armored Core, with how there's probably not going to be any kind of
Yeah.
collection or anything that might be for the modern consoles.
Alright, so we're starting with Iroha. Okay, so Iroha it is. Alright, so I like my fan service as much as the next guy.
Mm-hmm.
And let me just put that out there. Anybody who follows me on Twitter probably realizes that I freaking retweet titty all the damn time. That being said, there's 3 issues. One, first and foremost, I would not. While I do admit, I did find it funny.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was funny. There's 3 issues. One, you're on a professional, or excuse me, you're on a business account. So, business, not personal.
Right.
Whoever it is, whoever did that should not have done that. Even if I found it funny, even if personally I wasn't offended, he shouldn't have done that. Whoever it was that did that should not have done that. Now, the other problem is the offended crowd and the defensive crowd. You know?
Mm-hmm.
The issue here is that You have people taking offense, saying that, oh, this is offending women, blah blah blah. Yeah, motherfucker. And then you have people who were talking about, um, oh, y'all need to stop being so sensitive, blah blah blah. Let us have our titties, stop censoring. Y'all motherfuckers don't play either. Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? I'm not even on YouTube right now, but I got money. Says right now.
Wait, what happened? I guess probably family interference. Probably gonna wait on him, but I guess when
So
we get.
yeah, excuse me.
Yeah. Sorry about
So
that.
here's the thing. I got money. Says if you go on YouTube right now,
Mm-hmm.
you go on YouTube right now. I got money. Says that this one dipshit yellow flag made a video because that dude, that's all he does. That guy has gone on made so many different videos about anti quote unquote SJW videos or whatever the fuck they're called.
Right.
About things involving censorship and etc. And then in the same video, he'll even go, I don't play those games. I'm not gonna play those games. Blah blah blah. But it's like, dude, shut up. You even play them. So what the fuck does it matter to you? Um,
Okay, so I have this
my
picture
thing
pulled
is
up.
this: there's a time and a place for it. If you're gonna be horny on main, be horny on main. Go ahead.
Right.
But ultimately, right? If you're gonna be horny on main, that's you. But if you're gonna be horny on main and you're trying to push that shit on people who are clearly uncomfortable with it, you have a problem. So the situation here is, again, it's a professional account. And because it's a professional account, that means you're going to be dealing with people who are perfectly fine with being horny on main and people who would rather not be horny on main.
Right.
So in that respect, shouldn't be. The character's there. The character does have some fan service. So people who like their fan service, they have it. Let them have it. But at the same time, it's like you shouldn't be really trying to shove it down people's throats. Just like how some people don't like it when people make things political or whatever the fuck it is. Gotta find a balance.
Right.
But ultimately, I think that's my take on it. I don't think it's a person.
Well, you kind of broke up at
Really
that
is.
last bit there.
Again, my opinion. I don't think.
Yeah, I feel like going back
What
to what
about
you
you?
said. Yeah, going back to what you said that at the end of the day, it's a professional account. You're promoting the game, and by proxy,
And I
you
can hear
are
you
held
again.
to a certain standard. Wait, you can't hear me? Wait, you still can't hear me, or is there? That's odd. Also, thanks for the resub, Phantom. But yeah, what I was about to say was, by proxy, you have the responsibility of maintaining a bit of a professional image. Some people, I guess you can kind of say,
Okay, I can hear you now.
"Oh, you can hear me now." Okay.
Oh, can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, you're coming in really, really low.
Hmm. I might have to fiddle around
To
with
the
the
point where I
mic.
cannot hear you at all.
Oops. Let me see if I can fiddle around the mic a little bit better. Pause. Yeah. Let me also.
Man, talk about bad timing.
Yeah, but I guess we could also kind of improve upon that a little bit better. Probably need to mess around with my gain a little bit more, or it might be Facer just hijacking audio levels. I think I know what it might be.
In case the thing's being.
Okay, just checking. Am I loud enough, or is there still a bit of a low feed?
One. So,
Hmm. So
you can hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, you're coming in like super low, dude.
Okay, I guess I probably need to change a few
Let me see if I can hear you through your stream. And I'm gonna end up hearing myself again.
Gonna be back in the vortex yet? Alright, testing. Testing. Oh, okay. Hopefully it doesn't blow too many people's ears out.
I hear you now.
Yeah.
Louder?
I'm just also testing the audio, just seeing if I'm just getting at the right point.
Okay.
Because I don't know if
You
I'm
change
still.
it.
What'd you say?
Because I still can't hear you.
Oh boy. Okay, I think it might be Facebook that's causing this. Is that what we're doing without that? So, yep, so much for Masher being there. But, I guess the least I can do is probably add a bit more gain. And mess around with Discord.
Right now?
Huh?
Okay, now I can hear you. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Okay. So,
My bad.
I guess the one thing I'm pretty sure I probably forgot what I was about to say, but yeah. So, going back to my initial point, if you're doing like promotion for an official product, you're usually held to a higher standard. You can have a little bit of fun here and there. It's kind of like how Arc System works, regrettably so, does their kind of humor.
Yeah.
Just kind of be a little bit tongue in cheek, a bit of the how do you do, fellow kids kind of approach. But
Yeah.
and believe me, I've had my moments where I was sort of HOM, though not as extreme. That's why I have like an NSFW account for good measure. But it's I don't know if it's like my idea of what happens whenever people are locked up in a quarantine for so long that they get progressively worse as time goes on.
Yeah, maybe.
And I think that the fact that I don't think the person that was running the social media account for the Samurai Showdown was either goaded into it or they just kind of felt like, oh, I'm just joining in the camaraderie. Let me just be a part of that and see what happens next. Probably didn't think about the consequences after that, just mostly thought in the short term. But as things kind of spiraled out of control, and mostly people from the FGC and people from like the Nvidia side of Twitter getting offended here and there, it just leads to an endless back and forth of shit flinging. And don't get me wrong, fan service is fine. Fan service is great. The more the better. But there's limits to what you should be doing as a professional face. That's why you always have like an off-brand account, something that's not intrinsically connected to the main product itself. So I guess it's just a lack of discipline and ultimately not being aware of what kind of consequences could come from trying to fit in with a crowd that is very different from professional.
I mean, from what I understand, the Samurai Shodown account, that particular account, or SNK account, are pretty quiet. I mean, they're pretty reserved for the most part. So that should set the tone for you when you make maybe something that's slightly bold or a little bit more excited for certain things. But this, whoever, I mean, like, before fan service, the person who did the tweet on the account, they went overboard. They shouldn't have done that, period.
Yeah.
You have to be professional. You know, the character is there. You have your fan service. It's, you know, leave it as it is. You know, don't give people who aren't going to play the game and are complaining about fan service to fucking ruin it.
No.
And then don't give the ones that are overreacting about the overreacting to fucking come in either. Because we don't want those types either.
No.
Because like I said, I'm pretty sure a majority of those people, they ain't buying the game anyway. So who gives a shit? Mm-hmm. Let them be offended, or let them be offended at the ones who are offended. It's a waste of energy.
Yeah, just let them burn each other out. It's probably gonna end like within like by the end of the month, if we're being generous, that things might slow down.
I mean, as long as this doesn't turn into some dumb shit like what happened with Rainbow Mika getting
censored,
sort of kind of censored. I don't care. You put it in, leave it, so it's there.
Yeah.
You know, let it go. Let that shit go. But time and a place. Our time.
And the other thing is that with a game like Samurai Shodown, the fan service is the least of everybody's worries.
I mean, fan service in Samurai Shodown is pretty much non-existent, honestly.
Yeah. Like, there's only a handful of female characters, and most of them are just either on the young side or they're just very covered up.
You know, like I said, there's like next to no fan service in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what's her name? Cham Cham's kind of, you know, Cham Cham is there to be cute. Rinrubu's there to be cute. Nakaru is a serious character, but the character's also pretty cute. Mm-hmm. Charlotte's, you know, pretty serious. You know, the only one who's there who really did any level of fan service is really Iroha, but like I said, there was never really anything ridiculous.
Yeah, and I guess we could also throw in Darlie Dagger as one of the newer characters.
Well, yeah, the characters from the current game, they're not really fan servicing.
No.
You know, Kiki's a bit on the creepy side. Dagger, she's, you know, looks like a pretty strong female character, so there you go. And I remember some people did make some comments about the I forgot her name, the Chinese girl. I think she's Chinese. I know she has like a yin yang thing going. Her name's so annoying.
Sheng Fei. No, let me look.
People made some comments about her being on the thick side, but you know, that kind of just, rolled over pretty quickly. So my showdown isn't exactly a game where people are gonna go for fan service anyway. So that's when you know that everybody's just clamoring about the fan service is probably not picking up the game.
Nah.
So, because if you're just picking it up for fan service, then and you're only getting off of literally one character, it's not gonna work. Even if the character is a pretty is a pretty fan service favoring design, but not.
Yeah, there we go. Wu Rishan.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I'll just pull this over. Yeah. This character.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, people need to let that shit go. Like I said, I think this whole thing it should just be, people just need to let it go, and that's it. I mean, it's good that we have a conversation about being more inviting to women, because I do agree. I remember when FGC Storytime, when I had gone to an event a while back, and the person who came up was Sherry Jennings,
Mm-hmm.
and I overheard a couple of people talking about her, and I'm like, I had no idea who the hell she was. All I know is that somebody mentioned that she was hanging around with one of the big name players. Someone was running around gossiping about how she was dating one of them or whatever, and how all she did was just that she only became known because she slept around.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I overheard this, and I'm like, do y'all even know this fucking chick? Like, I'm like, who is this? I'm like, I didn't know who this person was, but I'm like, all I hear was these fucking dumbass dudes just fucking talking about this shit. And then, and it's kind of funny because every time I think about that, it's because like, every time, like, did you hear about what happened between, I believe it was her and what's his dumbass's name, Bushin style?
Yes. That
Like he couldn't get her name out of his mouth.
No, not
You
even
know,
for a little bit. It was twice that he did that too.
like
And he
fucking
looked
dude
like
apologizes, and you think, okay, fine, give him a second chance, because everybody deserves a second chance. And then, like, not even a fucking week later, this fucking dude keeps going. So it's
he deserves to get clowned at that point.
it's shit like this that happens. A lot of times people will go and people will think that when girls show up that they're fucking like hoes or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, this is the reason why it's look, personally, I don't think it's so much the fucking fan service in games. I don't think it's that.
Right.
You know, the I don't remember anybody ever making a big stink out of when Art of Fighting characters get KO'd and their fucking clothes and the girls' clothes get ripped. I don't remember anybody ever making a big stink out of that. Nobody makes a big stink out of fucking My Hero boobies, fucking titties flopping all over the fucking place.
Or Soul
You know,
Calibur having clothes
I mean,
exploding very
granted,
fast.
let's be real, they kind of did go overboard with fucking Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
They were trying to get a little ridiculous. I think one of the running gags was that when a new Soul Calibur comes out, Taki's boobs get bigger. But like the you know, I don't feel personally, my opinion, I'm not taking for fact. I don't feel that fan service is making the FGC unwelcoming for women. Not at all. What's making the FGC unwelcoming for women is fucking stupid ass dudes who fucking don't know how to fucking talk to girls, or most people for that fucking matter, are fucking acting stupid because a girl is there. You see it in fucking chat when the dumbass stream monsters show up. You see it, honestly, to a worse extent, in my opinion, in games like League of Legends.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of what I saw with League of Legends that I don't want. There was somebody who made a tweet about that, about how some company was trying to do some sort of thing, some sort of league that's supposed to be for girls only.
Oh, the
For
women's
fighting
only
games.
league.
Yeah, like, that's stupid. Don't do it.
Yeah,
Don't do that.
I think I remember Evo doing something like that to some degree.
They shouldn't look. They should. All right, look. Every time you do that, all you're gonna do is invite the fucking negatives to fucking come out and fucking bash it, hate on it, try to mock it, and just insult the girl. And they don't deserve that.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I think if people need, if we, I think it's necessary to have people, have guys and girls be part of the FGC. You know, the but at the same time, in order for us to be able to do that, I don't, like I said, I don't think it's the fan service. Yes, curb the horny on main a little bit. You don't need to be fucking acting a fool in front of girls like that, because that doesn't help. Don't be fucking creepy. Fan service is fine, just don't be creepy.
Right.
But we gotta fucking deal with the predators and the dumbass.
Yep.
That's what we gotta do. We gotta deal with the predators and the dumbass.
Yeah, the real trouble that's
And
within
that's
the community.
because a lot of times when people do act a fucking fool, you know, while I'm a fan of minding your business, when you see something like that happen, you gotta fucking step up. You
Right.
can't just leave it to security. You can't just leave it to the fucking TOs. They already have their hands full. But it's more of an internal thing that we need to do to make the FGC more inviting for women. In my opinion, it's not. I don't think it's a fan service. And even then, how often do they do dumbass fan service shit at events? They don't.
No.
It's people on fucking Twitter, and you can just mute that shit or block it if you have to.
Yeah, I think that's the
You
one thing
know,
that people tend to forget, that they're so they're so engrossed in trying to get a hold of all this Twitter cloud, that they forget that they have the necessary means to just ignore the whole thing, and they just let it
I
go to
mean,
their
you can't
heads.
just ignore all of it, but I
Yeah.
mean, the bad apple, you got to deal with the bad apples. But hey, sometimes people in the bad apples do shit. It's just like, hey, this person presses buttons, good, so it's okay.
Yeah, that's got to be the outland. That's the most outlandish shit possible, because you could be a pro player, and somehow people treat it as the means to kind of bypass any kind of consequence, which it shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody should be held accountable as if they were just a normal person on the street. But just because you're like some big shot, say if you're like a celebrity, if you punch someone down the street, someone's gonna call you out. Someone's gonna even swing at you too, just like any other person on the street. So the same principle should apply. If you're doing something or saying something stupid, no matter what status you are, pro player or not, you're gonna have to get called out eventually. Someone's gonna bring you correct.
But I think we're pretty much this topic on it. I don't think the Iroha thing was let us have a fan service. But at the same time, don't be fucking.
Yeah. I guess the only thing that I could probably say is the only kind of account that could be like horny on main and still have some sort of promotion is if you're like promoting an arrow gay or something among that line.
It's supposed to.
Yeah, they're supposed to. They're
I
supposed
mean, cause
to draw
I
people
mean,
in.
that's explicitly for that. So of course. But other than that, if it's for like a fighting game or whatever,
Yeah,
like
because
maybe you can be like somewhat silly about it. Like how they do the little Granblue comics or Granblue Fantasy, not versus comic for the mobile game.
yeah.
Like they'll take like small little shots about that, like how the whole like the typical breast envy jokes, things like that. That's fine,
Mm-hmm.
but like not the whole horny on.
Nah.
We got to do better though. We do
Yeah.
ultimately the what this does show is that we do need to do better,
Mm-hmm.
and at the same time just relax. A lot of this is just chaff.
Yeah, that's pretty much
You
it.
got the dumbasses on both. You got the dumbasses on both sides that are just rushing to be offended. Don't even worry about them.
And just trying to get those impressions up too.
I don't know.
Okay, I guess we can move on to the next topic. Let me see if I can find that tweet. that kind of sparked the whole reason why actually I have it in the Discord too, so I can bring it up that way. But I know you're a huge fan of Armored Core.
I have every game that's part of Armored Core, with the exception of the Japanese only games that came out on mobile. I think it was. Those are the only ones I don't have.
Hmm. So when I mentioned this, so when I brought up this tweet about the lack of preservation for the Armored Core series, that there hasn't been any kind of like digital versions or any collections for the
There
series in
are.
general. Wait, there are?
He's actually wrong, and I didn't want to call him out.
Oh, okay.
But here's the problem. He's right, but he's also wrong. He's right in that there is no preservation of the English.
Hmm.
If you go on Japanese PlayStation Store, at least I remember seeing it on the PS3 PSN store. They did have first generation Armored Core, which would cover from Armored Core, Project Phantasma, and Master of Arena. So those, at least those, I know for a fact, are on the PlayStation Store.
Hmm.
Not sure about Armored Core 2, Armored Core 2 Another Age, Armored Core 3, Silent Line, Nexus, Last Raven, Ninebreaker. Those are all the ones that came out in PS2. And then we got, of course, PS3, which is Armored Core 4 for Answer, 5, and Verdict.
Right.
But at least first generation is on PSN for the PS3 when I looked at it on the JP side. But no, he's right. I mean, that's just me being picky.
Right.
Ultimately, yes, he is right. From Software has done a horrible job of preserving those games and making it available. I don't think there's any harm in putting those games on PSN. I don't understand why, but I did make a complaint about that before. I'm still upset about how they handled Armored Core 4 and For Answer and 5 and Verdict Day on the American side.
Hmm.
For those who don't know, who are there in the Twitch chat, hello, by the way, let me explain. The Armored Core 4 and For Answer were balanced by what's called regulation. So the regulations, this is actually pretty cool, actually, is you can switch between regulations. At least in Armored Core For Answer, you were able to. I remember you were able to switch regulations. So that was kind of cool because if you wanted to have blade matches, then you would just slap on. I think it was 1.2. I don't remember, but that particular regulation gave you infinite, so you could just fly around like a maniac. Silly. Now in Armored Core 4, right? I'm talking specifically the PS3 version.
Right.
I'll get to the Xbox version in a second. On the PS3 version of Armored Core 4, the American side were only received regulations up to 1.4. The main egregiousness of the earlier regulation was that once you lost your primal armor, which is like a force field that you have, right? Because you have your suit, of course,
Right.
but then you also have a barrier that reduces damage, primal armor. Now you use primal armor, decrease damage from solid weapons, but it was also part of your overboost. So if you were overboosting, it took some of your overboost gate. I'm sorry, from your primal armor gate, Kojima particles (KP). So that was another resource that you had to manage.
Hmm.
Now, when your armor gets, you have to recover a certain amount of energy before your primal armor comes. But while your primal armor is down, solid weapons in particular melt the living daylights out of you. But not only that, certain weapons can stagger you.
Hmm.
So certain weapons, there was a certain combo that you can use that once your primal armor was popped, you're stun locked to your. So that's what led that particular weapon to have its ammo cut in half. So now, fast forward, and we get to 1.4. 1.4 was the final regulation that we got on the American side. Japan got 1.5 and eventually 1.6. Now, you were able to fight Japanese players. You were able to fight anybody who played the game. You were able to fight them regardless of where they were. The problem with this is, what happens if I'm in Japan and I fight Blue? So, I'm playing on the Japanese version of Armored Core 4. I have 1.6. Blue has 1.4. When we fight, Blue cannot see the regulation, because when we're about to fight, it shows the map that we're going to fight at. It's going to show the emblem of his opponent, and then you'll see the regulation. So the regulations would be blank. That's an indication that you're fighting someone from Japan, and that's when you know you're going to fight 1.6.
Oh.
Now, the problem with this is the following. I didn't go into detail about just what regulations. It's not just part. Okay. Well, no, excuse me. It is part balance. But the thing is, that throws off a lot of things. Because in Armored Core 4, not only your weapons, their ammo count, etc., but when you equipped your parts, some of them have different energy consumption. Some of them mess with your suit's balance that you have to, fix with stable. And then you also have to deal with weight and energy. So some parts were changed drastically enough that when you go to 1.4 to 1.6, your suit's overweight. So when your suit is overweight, your movement is slowed significantly. And not too much of a big deal because of how strong quick boost is. But there's one other problem. If you don't have enough energy, right? If your suit doesn't have enough energy, moving drains your energy. And usually it's firing ammo weapons and boosting, and over boosting that uses your. So now you're even more hampered. So you're going in to an extent if you're playing 1.6, or excuse me, fighting somebody that's at 1. So that prevented us from being able to fight the Japanese on equal terms.
Right.
Now, this didn't happen on Xbox 360. And the reason being is because in PS4, patches were released, and then they would have to get translated and then given to the American side. Because From Software released the game on their own in Japan, but it was another company that releases. On Xbox, though, it doesn't fly that way. When a patch drops for a game, Xbox has to approve it, but when they release it, everyone gets it.
Right.
So if a patch drops, it's dropped internationally at the same exact time. So because of that, the Japanese, Xbox players were able to play the game without any issue. Xbox players also had easier ways to do second stage quick boost, but that's another story. Mm-hmm. The same issue happened in Armored Core for Answer. I believe the American version also ended up not getting all the regulations. Of course, Xbox did. But the disparity wasn't that bad, if I'm not mistaken. Now, we fast forward again and we move to Armored Core 5. And Armored Core 5 was its own thing in America. So American players were completely separated from Japan. And that's fine, because the way that everybody was fighting for territory in Japan, Americans were never going to be able to keep territory for long anyway, so it's whatever. The problem is, because of this, because they were held independently in service, I guess you could say, both the Xbox and PlayStation version were not able to get the full regulation.
Oh.
There goes that idea. Now, why am I even talking about all of this? Because obviously this sounds like a bit of a tangent. I feel personally, and yes, this is a knock on From Software, I feel that this shows how much they don't care for the West when it comes to Armored Core. Because if it was up to them, because like I said, H-Tech released all of first, second, and third, and fourth generation Armored Core here. Mm-hmm. I'm talking Armored Core 1, Armored Core 2, 3, and Nexus. I consider Nexus 4th gen. I believe that's how people do it. Armored Core 4 but I'm talking about in terms of. But Age Tech translated and brought over all the Armored Cores of the PS2 era and the PS1 era,
Right.
and then there was Bandai Namco that did 4 and 5. Now, I think is it an oversight? Did they not have enough money? What's going on? Because y'all came out with fucking Dark Souls and Demon Souls and fucking Bloodborne and whatever, and y'all made mad money with that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason why you couldn't bring over those Armored Core games into the PSN store. Because, one, it's not going to hurt you. If anything, you're going to get the people who played those games to buy it out of nostalgia. And you're not really going to get many people clamoring to tell you, hey, give us another Armored Core. You know, it's not going to, the demand for an Armored Core is not going to the demand for more Soulsborne.
Mm-hmm.
This is not. This is not. Soulsborne has way more appeal than Armored Core has, or had, or will ever have, personally. So, it's like I was saying before, I think they don't care. Proof of that is the fact that Armored Core 4 from Software aren't even there anymore. If I'm not mistaken, some of them left, and they are the ones who took part in making Daemon X Machina.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So that tells you even more. Okay, so there you go. So that tells you even more how much they don't care, or they're at least just saying let the past be the past.
Mm-hmm.
But I would still, if they did come out and say, you know what, maybe that was an oversight. You know what, you're right. We're gonna and bust it out for the PS Store, PlayStation Store. I'd buy it at a because ultimately I do love the games. I do enjoy the games, and I would love to play them again. Yeah. But it's disappointing. Like you said, it's not there. Are we ever going to see Armored Core 6? Honestly, I doubt it. I think if, like I said before, I think I said in the Discord, I think we need games like Astral Chain, Daemon X Machina, Xenoblade, because those have mechs in it to do well, but we also need EX versus Maxi Boost to do, because the game that shall not be named, for all intents and purposes, is looked at as a flop, as a failure.
Right.
And that doesn't look good for the Gundam franchise.
Yep.
But if Maxi Boost On does well, and from what I'm seeing here, the general consensus of people who played the game, except for the dumbass that we talked about last time, who I give a pass, seems to be mostly positive. So hopefully people buy it, and maybe From says, okay, cool, we'll release the Armored Core games to test the waters and see how people react, and people buy the games. If people buy the games, maybe we do get an Armored Core 6.
Yeah, I guess we got to have that bit of wishful thinking when it comes to situations like that.
Can't. You're talking to a guy that would love to see another Armored Core,
mm-hmm.
and that would love to see another F-Zero, but do they sell? As much as we look at them, do they sell?
Yeah.
This isn't gonna be like the guys who made Fighting EX later. They did that as a love project and kind of as a joke, but that was a passion project. From Software, they don't have to do passion projects. They have a successful franchise with Soulsborne that they can just do those, and they're gonna just make money. They don't have to make Armored Core. It's just like with Nintendo. They don't have to make an F-Zero, even if they keep giving us the excuse that they want to do something completely unique. Even though I'm positive, if you ask any F-Zero fan, hey, would you rather these guys come up with some unique gimmick for a new F-Zero, or would you be fine with just them re-releasing GX? And I got money says most of them will say, yes, please re-release GX. I'll be fine with it. You don't even have to do anything fancy. Maybe slap on online versus. Yeah. Maybe. Nobody will. They'll be like, yeah, give me, give me.
Yeah, that would mostly be that's the most feasible option at that point because GX pretty much set the bar for a lot of F Zero games in general. So you want to go with a game that everybody kind of knew and loved to the point where it's a cult following at that point.
I mean, the other F Zero games weren't bad. I mean, the original F Zero was a classic. Nobody played F Zero BS, and no, it doesn't stand for bullshit. It stands for Beta Satellite.
Mm-hmm.
You know, X was great. Um, Maximum Velocity, I feel like people give it a bad rap, but I think that's unwarranted. I think Maximum Velocity was great. I actually 100% of that game. I beat that game on the hardest difficulty with every single machine. Um, Now, the ones that were not good, F Zero did have a couple of games that were unfortunate. Some people want to take that Maximum Velocity was mediocre or bad. I will defend that game. Um, the one that was tied to the anime, F Zero GP Legend,
Mm-hmm.
was the name of that game. That game tried to combine classic F Zero with F Zero X. It didn't work. I don't think they should have done that because they tried to add all the racers from the X, and there's a lot of characters. So the little card doesn't have, the system doesn't have the memory for all of that. They should.
Right.
And then and that also led to a game that we didn't get here. GP Legend made it out here, but then the game that came out afterwards, F Zero Climax, that game never made it.
Mm.
And I believe F Zero Blue Falcon, that game never made it out here. So there's 4 games in total that didn't make it out here. It was BS, Climax, Blue Falcon, and then I think the one that was for the 64DD. I don't remember if that game was unreleased, but I didn't make it back to Armored Core because I'm going off another tangent. Sorry. I think like Cut and Dry. If they were to re-release those games, even if I'm here knocking from software about it, I would buy them. Of course, I would buy it because number one, I'm a fan of the games. Number two, that's to show them, hey, there is interest here for these games. But I'm also thinking if they do release another Armored Core, and they were asking for opinions, the first thing out of my mouth is going to be, y'all screwed up with F-Zero, with F-Zero, all screwed up with Armored Core 4 and Armored Core 5 with the and I would be explicit about it. Don't do that again.
Right. Just keep it uniform.
Like, if you don't want us to play because of connections or whatever, I get it. But please, 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 give us the patches. Give us the regulation. Because I promise you, the Mecha. I've noticed that Mecha fans are pretty loyal. Armored Core fans are pretty loyal. I think people who are fans of From Software have been pretty loyal, and I'm positive if they release Armored Core on PS4, on PSN, on Xbox, whatever it is, well, they probably wouldn't do. They probably wouldn't do it on Xbox. I would assume they probably wouldn't. Mm-hmm. But you know what? Wait, maybe that's why.
Wait, what's the revelation you came up with?
It would be impossible, I think, to release the original versions of Armored Core 1st, 2nd, 3rd generation because those came out on PS1, PS2, PS3. So you wouldn't be able to release them on PC, and you wouldn't be able to release them on Xbox because those games were on Sony. So unless they did it from the ground, okay, there you go. I think they would have to make like a remake. They have to do like a remake.
Yeah, either a remake or if they have like the source code, they could probably give it to someone else to redo it. Somewhat similar to like how Zone of the Enders had their stuff done by Bluepoint Games.
I think that's what they would have to do. They would have to do like a remake. If they do like a remake, then sure. Mm-hmm. But maybe that's why they're not doing it. But even then, y'all can still do what's it called? Y'all can still re-release 4 and 5.
Yeah.
That's not gonna hurt. You can still do those. And I think my net just came back up. So then I'll be able to see what you beautiful people are chatting in the chat.
It's been pretty
But
quiet for the most part.
it's been quiet. Oh, that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But maybe that's why they haven't re-released 1, 2, and the 1, 2, and 3. Maybe because they don't want to alienate the Xbox fans by not releasing a game that they can't.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what it is. Um, maybe that. But ultimately, at the end of the day, if you release if you re-release those games on PSN, I will support it because ultimately I love the franchise. Like I can't tell you how much time I spent on on my days off from school. When I was in high school and I found out about Armored Core and I picked it up for PlayStation 1. I found it in a new and used shop for like $10 because somebody didn't like it. And next thing you know, I pick up the game. I show it to my brother. Like, yo, I found this game. It's called Armored Core. Blah 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 blah. And I can tell you just how much. Like we spent so much time. Like honestly, me and my brother could probably just hum the tune for Shape Memory Alloys from start to finish and loop it forever because we would spend so much time in the garage just making up robots and just coming up with these silly designs
Mm-hmm.
and just having fun with the game. Like we spend so much time in customization, it's not even funny, dude. Like honestly, like half the game is you in customization. Checking out what you can do and trying to keep things within weight limits and coming up with good things that are gonna work. Even though at the end of the day, when it came down to doing missions, me and my brother always had like the same 2 weapons we wanted to use: the 1,000 ammo machine gun and a strong laser blade. That's like those are like the basics weapons for us. And then if we were using the rebel cheats, the human plus, then of course we're gonna have a grenade launcher in the back because it was the answer to everything.
Mm-hmm.
But not like it would be nice. Um, I would love to know the real reason why they haven't released those games because one of the people did make a good point there. You don't want to invite people to pirate your game.
Right.
Piracy is piracy is necessary. Okay, piracy, we do piracy sometimes, but piracy shouldn't be the only option
No, it should.
for us to preserve a game.
Especially with
If people
physical
if people
copies of
do
games being hard to find.
Oh, yeah, by the way, funny thing, since we are talking about Armored Core, I actually have an Armored Core background on my fucking PS4. but, but not like I said, like, look, I legitimately love the Armored Core franchise. It hurts me that we haven't gotten an new Armored Core in so long. At least if you're not gonna do that, you know, come up with the games, man. Bring them out.
Yeah.
Bring them out.
I guess
That would be. It would be nice.
Yeah. I guess in my case, the reason why I probably want like another probably a collection is to actually experience it firsthand, see how the other games kind of build up to where it is now, and ultimately get engrossed with how the story went too for each game.
Which ones did you play?
I've only played For Answer.
All right, because none of them really follow each other in terms of story.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the first game and then Project Phantasma, even though they're in the same, they kind of cover different stories. Same massive. Um, Two is its own story, but then Another Age was kind of disjointed. It was really just a mission pack, if you will. Three, Silent Line, then Nexus and Last Raven are a story. And then you, of course, have four. Four is a story. For Answer is a sequel to four, but the character that you play as in four is White Glinton for Answer. Five is its own story, and if I'm not mistaken, Verdict Day takes place completely different time wise than 5.
Oh.
So it's all pretty disjointed.
Okay. And I think another series that I mentioned in the conversation I had with like Shxt guy
Yeah.
was Ace Combat, because the thing was, when I was looking for like any of the older games that probably should have been on like the PlayStation Store, they weren't there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to find like a legal way in order to actually get your hands on like Ace Combat 1 through 6, especially, and even 0. And since 0, 4, and 5 are pretty much like the holy grail of the Ace Combat series, there's a bit of pedigree to at least give them a try and see how they've held up over the years. But
Yeah.
because there's like little to no legal accessibility to those, and it's kind of baffling as to why Bamco hasn't even released like a collection of it, especially with one of the games in the series, Ace Combat 3. It's completely different depending on the regions.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
3 is, if I'm not mistaken, 3 is completely different depending on which version you're playing.
yeah, because the JP version had a lot more content to it. It actually had
Mhm.
around like 52 missions as opposed to the more streamlined North American version. So if they ever do come across to actually doing a collection, I hope they actually go with the Japanese version and then just localize it more for.
It would be good if they did that because the Japanese version was better than the version.
Yeah.
But the other thing too that I would like is the. Although honestly, it's not gonna. But I'm gonna throw it out there. If we get Armored,
Wait, you're kind of breaking up a little bit.
if we get Armored Core, then you're gonna throw the bone to. Actually, give me a second. Let me put my Wi-Fi on because my network came back up.
Okay. Also, Gene X Demon, thanks for the follow.
Oh, Gene X Demon, that's my cousin Alan. What's up, Alan? But here's I actually have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
See, if you're gonna if we convince from core games, right?
Right.
We can throw Xbox players a bone because there are 2 games that From Software made that were only on Xbox, and that was Chromehounds and Murakumo Mech Hunter. Murakumo Mech Hunter also had a cameo in the first Another Centuries episode.
Right.
So that would be good there too. That would be a bone to throw there too. Murakumo Mech Hunter was kind of like an on-rails shooter. Speaking of which, the Cloudbreaker 01, which is the red suit from that game, also made an appearance in Another Centuries episode, and that leads into another game that I wouldn't mind From Software re-releasing. Another Centuries episode 1, Another Centuries episode 2, and the rest can fuck off.
Right.
Because 1 was good, 2 was great, 3 was kind of and people have negative opinions about R.
And I think that's when they went more towards the super robots rather than what it was initially about.
Yeah, 3 added some supers. 3 added a getter and also added Overman King Gainer.
Oh.
And while I don't have a problem with my super robot brethren, Another Centuries episode is a real robot game. Leave it there.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like how a real robot regiment is supposed to be all real robots, but for some reason it has like some getter units there.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, I'm fine with it, but it would be nice if they re-release it. But I know for a fact we'll never get that in America because fuck Harmony Gold.
Oh yeah. I mean, I guess thanks to like Super Robot
No,
Wars V through T, we do realize there's a bit of a workaround. They just have to release it in Asia with English subtitles, and that's it.
good, and that's great because that way we can introduce more people to the wonderful genre of mecha.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
that at the same time, Harmony Gold. And at the end of the day, fuck Harmony Gold.
Fuck
Y'all can
Harmony
eat a
Gold.
bag of shit.
Yeah,
Because
that's
my whole thought process with that is the same thing that a YouTuber who makes reviews about anime, his name is Glass Reflection.
hmm
He made a great point. He's like, "Look, Harmony Gold, like, please release the rights for Macross for Robotech. It's okay. We can have a timeline where both Macross and Robotech. It's okay.
yeah. They should
Most
be able to
people won't even
coexist.
care. Most people won't even care about the fact that you butchered 3 shows together to make one show. And let's not even go into the fucking fact that the guy who created Macross hates what they did with Robotech.
hmm
Let's not even go into that. He hates that shit.
Yeah, understandably
And
so.
and I'm not talking about the butthurt that the director for Gundam Seed Destiny has about Super Robot Wars fixing Destiny. I'm talking about this guy just straight up, just doesn't understand why they did what they did.
hmm
But it's pretty much that's pretty much how I feel um on the topic of Armored Core. From Software, enough with the Soulsborne game. Yes, I'm biased. Yes, I want another Armored Core. Or at least, if you're gonna make your goddamn Soulsborne games, please at least re-release the Armored Core games. Let us introduce a new generation of gamers to the franchise, and then maybe see if it generates enough interest so you can make a Soulsborne Armored Core game. There's an idea.
Yeah, just pretty much a marriage of both worlds, and if everybody enjoys it, then it's a win-win because you have the customization and a lot of capabilities when it comes to like the armor core aspect, and you could add like either some semblance of Sekiro or any of the Soulsborne games to kind of bring people in on a bit of a challenge. And I'm pretty sure co-op
Very
would be
nice.
fun as hell too.
It'd be nice, but we'll see what happens. It's just that right now, it just leaves me kind of butthurt and annoyed that we don't have those games. But we'll see what happens. Maybe we get lucky.
Yeah, it's just probably going to be a roll of a die at this point.
Yep.
But
I see a mash.
yes, I've been trying to get that working. I don't know if there were any kind of audio issues stemming from face rig, but I guess we can fix a few things here and there.
Manly mash.
Yeah. I always joke that's the Dr. Girlfriend routine from like Venture Brothers.
That's a good show right there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like definitely if they do release the games, it would be nice for you to actually be able to play those games. The controls didn't really age very well,
Mm.
but if you can handle the claw technique for Monster Hunter, you can handle core.
Yeah. I guess again.
The part that's gonna frustrate you though is the fact that there was limitations for weapons.
Mm-hmm.
The In Armored Core 4, with uh you can fly with back weapons like grenade launchers in
Right.
4 and for answer. However, bipeds cannot do that
Mm-hmm.
in the previous games. The If you were using the back weapons like that, um bipeds would have to take a crouching stance to use them.
Right.
Four-legged suits can use them while moving, but they cannot do it in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Tanks can use them whenever.
Right.
So that was a clear advantage that those had. Conversely, in the original Armored Core, tanks were not able to use the carousel because the carousel was too bulky. Carousel was that overpowered laser weapon. I believe you'll probably remember it as the Canopus.
Yeah.
The however, there was a trick or a cheat per se in Armored Core 1, the original, and also in Armored Core 2, the first one, not another age. If you repeatedly fail missions, be it on purpose or because you're just that bad, you actually get to see a special scene, and I believe they do have it in YouTube also that you can see it. So what happens is that basically it says that canonically your character failed miserably, and your character ends up getting an enhancement. So like I actually still remember the freaking lines. Actually, it's kind of funny. Like basically, you see like an operating table, like operating lights, like the lights in an operating room, and you'll hear somebody go, it's like, "Oh, is this the next subject for the experiment?" He's like, "Oh yeah, it says here that he was a raven. He seems to have piled up quite a debt." No, my bad. First he says, "Hey, it says here that he was a raven," and the other guy was like, "Oh, so he took the usual route here." Other guy goes and says, "Oh, he seems to have piled up quite a debt." Then the first guy goes, "Oh, must have dashed his dreams. But he will be reborn in this experiment." And the other guy goes and says, "If he lives." Lights come on, you hear a clinking noise, and then the game starts over like if you're just starting over. Now, if you started with a name, your name gets replaced with the word rebel and a couple of random numbers. And then you get your first enhancement. So I believe you can do that. I think a total of 6 times. I think you have to do it on purpose to get all the benefits. But you would get a free radar. However, it's not constantly active, like let's say like a back radar. So it pulses. So it's kind of delayed. You get extra boost efficiency. You get to throw a blade. You get to throw the beam, the laser blade from the laser blade. You can if you time it properly, you can shoot it as a projectile. And the last benefit that you get is that you're able to use back weapons while flying.
Oh.
So those are the unlocks. In 3 they changed it. So in 1 and 2, that was you being referred. They were referring to that as Human Plus or Rebel. Right. And then in 3, when you get to a certain point, you get an optional part that you can use, and it's called Op Intensify. So when you get Op Intensify, at first it doesn't do anything. However, as you complete certain missions and fulfill certain requirements, then you unlock the skills I mentioned before. Okay. Although when you get it, you receive an email where it says, "Hey, here, this is a new experimental part. If you can accomplish certain things, you'll unlock its full potential. However, be aware that if you do that, people are gonna look down on you as being dishonorable."
And also have
but there was also a balancing act too. If I'm not mistaken, as you powered up Option Intensify, it took more slots. So basically, you were not able to use optional parts that helped you defensively and things of that nature. So there was a payoff. They just did away with that completely in Armored Core 4, and then they sort of kind of brought it back in Armored Core 5. Because did you play 5?
No.
Okay, so there were some pretty heavy weapons that you can equip on your arms, but only the tank was really able to use them normally. Everybody else had to take a stationary stance to use them. But let's say like the bipeds, for example, the regular humanoid bipeds, right. When they use it, their knee, when they take a knee, their front leg will bust out like an extra shield for extra protection. So you will have like a defense buff while you're doing that. But nah, it's the evolution of the series is pretty interesting. So it would be nice to see. So hopefully they do that, and if they don't do like a remake, then just a re-release will be. I'll be fine with a re-release.
And before we kind of wrap up this topic, what's like another game series that you think needs to be remastered or brought back into like the light?
Besides Armored Core?
Yeah, besides Armored Core.
and F-Zero. Star Fox. There's two Nintendo games actually. Two Nintendo games.
Mm-hmm.
Star Fox and Bring Back Custom Robo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bring Back Custom Robo. Custom Robo was nice. Custom Robo was a more simplistic take on Armored Core and Virtual On. It was a simplified child of Armored Core and Virtual On. That's the best way I can describe it.
Okay.
Because you can customize your head, your body, and I believe your leg. I think so. No, I think it was you had it as a set body.
Mm-hmm.
You can just pick one from certain bodies, and then from there you can choose between a main weapon, a sub weapon, and then a third weapon. So there's a body and 3 different weapons.
Right.
So those games are kind of cool. The one for GameCube was really fun.
I think there was like another custom robo for like the DS, but I
Mm-hmm.
can vaguely remember.
The DS one was good too.
Mm-hmm.
The DS one was good too. I really enjoyed the one. I did enjoy the one on GameCube though.
Right.
And another series I wouldn't mind them bringing back, even though the series is in use right now.
Mm-hmm.
Fantasy Star.
The strict RPG ones.
Yes.
Yeah,
those games are also overdue for a re-release.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while since they did, but I wouldn't mind the re-release of the games too. And also, that includes the graphically upgraded versions of 1 and 2.
Right.
So I wouldn't mind that either.
Yeah. Yeah, then probably a remake or a re-release or just like some sort of HD remaster of those games would definitely bring a lot more people into like the idea of the Phantasy Star universe in general, because it stems a long way even into like Phantasy Star Online 2. It has that much influence. Because without the Phantasy Star, the future games would not exist.
Mm-hmm.
And because of how I think in episode 5 of Phantasy Star Online 2, there's a few throwbacks to even the original Phantasy Star characters. Lutz and I think her name was Alicia, but she's
Alice.
like
Alice.
Yes, the Sword Maiden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Alice was the main character from part 1. Mm-hmm. Lutz is the Phantasy Star, as Sid is the Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm. So he's sort of like an outlier of sorts, right?
No, Lutz is in every game.
Oh.
Lutz is, although I don't think he was in part 2. No, wait, he is in part 2, but he's not playable. In part 1, he's not playable. In part 3, I believe he is playable. In part 4, he's playable.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same. It's a different person though. It's just it's like Sid. It's a different person, but it's just that there's a Sid in the game.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I think we had a really good discussion right tonight. I don't know if anyone else has anything else in the chat that they probably want to chime in for us to talk about, but
yeah, sorry about earlier. The net screwed. The internet issue screwed me up. Sorry about that.
That's no problem. I was also trying to wrestle with the audio issues too, so we're kind of both starting 1 feet deep in the mud.
It's okay. Little experience, so next time it'll be better.
Yep. I guess probably the next time we have a discussion, we could probably talk about how to get into mecha in general, or something along the lines of that. Hopefully, we can probably bring some more people in. Probably
introduction to mecha sounds like a plan.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure we're all gonna have polarizing opinions on which one to start with.
Yeah, I'll probably be leaning more towards like the real robot side. Just kind of get people lulled into it, but there might be some supers that I would also recommend as well. But I guess at the end of the day, there's like certain common elements that could bring people from different genres of anime or manga to kind of come together when it comes to mecha. Because at the end of the day, mecha is pretty much in the DNA of all anime. Without mecha, there wouldn't be a lot of other things that make them stand out. Really,
Yeah, definitely. Mecha did its thing for carrying. The Mecha did carry the medium for a bit.
it did. And even the people that were involved in the conception, as well as like providing designs, providing stories, and all the things that involve like prominent figures, they are still in the industry to this day, and they're doing a damn good job at making their presence known.
Mm-hmm.
Even in like most non-mecha anime too.
It's all good though. It's just that it's just a hard sell.
Yeah, especially when it comes to like the shonen crowd. That's
Mm.
they're the ones that tend to have the biggest bellyache when it comes to trying to introduce them to mecha. And I think what really I would probably have to give part of the blame to a few mecha anime here and there, but that could be for the next time we do our discussion.
Def.
Because
All right.
because I'm pretty sure you know which one I'm going to talk about first.
Which one?
We're probably just going to talk about it in Discord, but you know
Okay.
exactly which one. I've pretty much been outspoken about it for the most part, but we're just going to keep that as a bit of a surprise for the next time.
All right. Cool. Looking forward to it then.
All right. And hope everybody else is looking forward to this as well. This is going to be uploaded to YouTube at some point. So I guess we'll probably do it maybe next Wednesday or Thursday. We could probably figure out a schedule.
Wednesday sounds good.
Yeah. Hump day.
All right. Sounds like a plan. I'll see y'all then.
All right. Take care.
Take it easy, fellas.